Hello and welcome to the channel. Don't forget to click like and subscribe and share this video if you find it of interest and you know someone who might also find it interesting. When I first started this channel, I started doing a series of videos called Depression Question and Answer. This is one that I should have done back then, but life got in the way and then it just got forgotten, and it's now risen up from the depths. So this video is going to be about depression and volunteer work. The question I'm going to cover is one that I was asked several years ago when I was doing a lot of mental health stuff in the community. So people used to come up and ask me questions, and one person came up to me and asked me, do you think I should do some voluntary work? Now, I had been doing a lot of voluntary work at the time, but my answer hasn't really changed, even though I have become disenchanted with doing voluntary work myself, and I literally can't do it now anyway. What I said to him was, well, what else have you got going on in your life? He'd got his mental health stuff, and he also had caring duties. He had a member of his family. I don't know what the disability was. I don't know whether it was physical or whether it was a mental health thing. But he still wanted to do some voluntary work. Now, I said to him, doing voluntary work can be very helpful, but you've got to be really careful on what you do. I did a lot of diverse bits and pieces. When I first started doing voluntary work, I was doing courses at the adult college. I became a volunteer at the adult college, and I became a member of the board of governors. I also became the chair of the local mental health forum, and I got drafted into, or I joined a mental health user involvement program, which involved getting training and doing research work and other stuff like that. So I was doing a lot at the time, and it wasn't constant. This is my point. I couldn't say I can do X amount of hours in a week, because one, I had too much stuff to juggle, and two, I didn't know what my mental state would be. So I said, yes, it can be really good, but don't do more than you really think you can commit to. And more importantly, make sure it's something that will benefit you. Don't just do any voluntary work, because you can get, you can become a volunteer in a charity shop. That isn't necessarily going to be what will benefit you. The stuff I did benefited me. By being a volunteer in the adult college, I got access to free courses. And when I got the free courses, that allowed me to increase my knowledge base and gave me a greater number of courses on which I could help other people. So that was a positive. Where it starts getting problematic is when something that you are volunteering to do deviates from what you are meant to be doing. At one point, I was doing basic computer skills with two people. This was after I'd stopped doing the major part of my voluntary work. I was down to doing just the adult college and only the governor part of the adult college. And I was doing computer skills with two different people. Now, this is where the problem arose. I was in a meeting. It was an all-day thing. I can't remember whether it was a meeting or whether it was something to do with Ofsted inspection preparations. But the elderly gentleman I was helping with the computer skills was having marital problems too. His wife was maybe not an alcoholic, but she was drinking. I liked them both, but I got a call during this thing at the adult college, and it turned out that I was being treated as a de facto carer to this couple. I had to break up a couple of arguments and stuff like that, but this time it sounded really important, so I had to break off from what I was doing, run over to their place, and I mean literally run, because although it was close, it was still quite a distance. It was about 1.5 miles away from the college. And it burnt me to a frazzle because I became involved too much in the caring for them and being a referee for some of their arguments, rather than doing what I was meant to be doing. The only reason I wasn't still doing it was eventually I had a bereavement. It was my cat that I'd had for 15 or more years, and it killed me. It was a few days after my birthday, and it utterly killed me. And that came on top of all this extra load that was nothing to do with me, but I got dragged into it. I would have continued doing it if I hadn't had I wouldn't call it a breakdown, but I had a psychiatric crisis. So I couldn't do that anymore. But that's the problem. Sometimes when you're doing something, you either get too involved because you're too caring, and unfortunately, despite my low opinion of the human race, I do still sympathise, empathise with people when they are in pain or when they are in trouble. So I ended up becoming, as I said, a de facto carer when I was only meant to be there a couple of hours a week teaching basic computer skills. Whether he continued, I've not been able to go back. And then a similar thing happened with someone else. The other person I was doing computer work with, I enjoyed it to begin with, but then they got to a point where it wasn't teaching her skills anymore. I got her to a point, but then everything stalled. I don't know what the reason for that was, but it became something that made my depression worse, because I wanted to teach, but I wasn't getting the results for one reason or another. She was getting how to send and receive and send emails, write emails, formatting and stuff like that. But it came to a point where that wasn't what she was interested in doing anymore. Again, the death of another cat decimated my mental health, and I stopped seeing her. But this is my point. To begin with, I was really making it was really an enjoyable experience. But there comes a point where you have to say, this isn't working. So not only do you have to do something that you are going to be interested in yourself, it's got to be something that will help build your confidence, to build you up, give you skills. And when it stops, you have to stop doing that. You have to stop doing that voluntary work. I was going from doing quite a lot to now I cannot do anything. I cannot do any of that voluntary work. And where it started out being something quite positive, my bad experiences made it worse. So what I would say, this is my answer, and it's still my answer even though I've had the bad experiences, is yes, do voluntary work if you can commit to a regular amount, or if it's irregular amount. So it could be you do a couple of days, 1 week when you're feeling like it, and none the next week because you're not feeling like it. Or if it's short, sharp things that you do in a week, or maybe 1 2-hour thing a week. And so long as you're getting something out of it, so long as it's enjoyable, so long as you are getting something out of it yourself, then yes, voluntary work is a good thing. It is not the cure-all for people with depression, or, and this could be generalized to all mental health problems, it isn't going to be the cure-all that The government seems to think it was, and still does. Get you into work, you'll be fine. It's got to be the right voluntary work or the right paid work. Something that you can enjoy. Something that will build up your confidence, will build up the skills, the transferable skills that you can use in something else. So long as you don't overcommit yourself. So that is the takeaway of this. Don't overcommit yourself. Don't say, oh yeah, I'll do 3 days a week, because there are going to be weeks or days when you cannot do anything at all. And make sure that you are getting something from it. Don't just do voluntary work for voluntary work's sake. It will do you no good. And if you are empathetic, put very strong boundaries on the voluntary work. So if you're there, like I was with the computer skills thing, only do that. Don't get involved in anything outside of that. It will, if it's against your nature to set clear boundaries, then you've got to be even more sensible in what voluntary work you will do, because you may end up becoming trapped in a situation where you are doing stuff in your voluntary role that you are not either trained for or emotionally prepared to handle, even though your heart goes out to those people. So I hope this has been of interest. I hope it's answered the question. Be very careful, final thing, be very careful if you're a carer and if you have depression yourself, because that is really going to put a strain on you during your working hours, during your voluntary working hours, because you've still got in the back of your head your caring duties on top. So I hope this has been of interest. If you did like it, please click the like button. If you want to see more videos, not just on depression Q&A, but other subjects, then why not click the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you know when a new video's been dropped. And finally, if you do know someone who would benefit from this video, why not share it? And maybe we can protect the people who want to do, people with mental health problems who want to do voluntary work but need a little guidance. Be very careful, but it is something worth doing. And I hope to see you later.